He was a man who survived by hiding behind a lens, chasing shadows of the city at night. Lucas was the cop who should have been his enemy, yet became the only one who saw him without filters. Their story began with a warning on a highway, grew on rooftops where heat and silence did the talking, and almost turned into salvation. But one blurred photograph unleashed suspicion, betrayal, and danger. Internal affairs hunted them, threats appeared on doors, and fists came down harder than the truth they tried to bury. Every glance, every brush of a hand carried the weight of losing everything. One man risked his badge, the other risked the fragile life he built on running. In the end, love stood against power, desire collided with fear, and both men faced a choice no one could take back. When survival demands silence, but the heart demands fire, which will win? I meant to be invisible on the Julia Tuttle Causeway, windows down, camera bags rattling, sweat pinning my shirt as Miami's midnight heat pressed in. I chased the kind of light that shows up when a city forgets it's being watched. That's what I told myself. The truth was simpler. I was running from the version of me I kept locked behind my ribs. The cherries hit my rear view like a confession. I checked the speedometer, saw the needle a hair over the limit, and felt my throat go dry. It wasn't the ticket. It was the recognition. I eased my Civic onto the shoulder, palms slick, heart beating an old drum I knew too well. Footsteps, a flashlight, license and registration. I looked up and forgot how to breathe. Hazel eyes that didn't blink. Miami, dade patch lit by sodium, the nameplate read, Officer Lucas Rivera. My stomach turned, not from the badge, but from how he looked at Macomb, surgical, like he was measuring the parts I kept hidden. "Where you headed this late?" he asked, glancing at the lenses piled on the back seat. "Wynwood, I managed. Night shots, you a pro, freelance." The smile I tried to hand him shook and fell. He took my documents, stepped back to his cruiser, and left me alone with the ocean's black breath. The old film started to play. 16, a locked bedroom, a father pounding on the door with scripture in his mouth and shame in his eyes. I had promised myself I'd never give another man the power to name me. Rivera returned, unreadable. He held my license in one hand, my future in the other. "I'm giving you a warning, Hale. Watch your speed." His tone softened a fraction. "You shoot anything good tonight?" The question tripped me. I thumbed through the last set and showed him a long exposure. Biscayne Bay turned to hammered glass, the skyline shivering like a secret. He leaned closer, not enough to touch, enough to feel heat. "You've got an eye," he said, almost a whisper. "You see what other people miss. I should've rolled the window up and driven away. I should've let the night stitch itself closed. Instead I sat there, listening to a future I didn't trust whisper my name. 'Drive safe,' he said, and walked back into the dark. I pulled out slow, the warning slip shaking on the seat, Miami glittering ahead. By the time I reached Wynwood, my hands had stopped shaking. By the time I got home, they hadn't. I didn't sleep. I replayed the way Head said it. "You've got an eye." Like a door I wasn't sure I wanted opened. 3 nights later, I went back to the bay for the light, and for a ghost in a uniform I told myself I didn't care about. The sky was bruised purple, the water holding its breath. I set up the tripod and waited for the city to blink. Still chasing the night, Hale, no uniform, a navy tee, tired jeans, the same eyes, warmer now. Off-duty, human, dangerous in a different way. Lucas, I said too fast, the name tasting like I'd practiced it. "Didn't expect, didn't either." He stepped beside the camera, hands loose. "Show me how you did that glass water thing." I told myself it was a lesson. I told myself the way his shoulder brushed mine was an accident. I blamed the heat. He listened the way good cops list, insolent, absorbing. When I demonstrated the shutter, his hand hovered near mine and stopped, as if Head reached a fence only we could see. "Why night?" he asked. "Because it's the only time the city forgets to judge," I said, surprising both of us. Something cracked behind his eyes. He slipped a folded card from his pocket, wrote numbers on the back, handed it over. "In case you want to show me more." I stared at it too long. Then I did the one reckless thing I swore I'd never do again. I let the future choose me. At 1:37 a.m., my thumb hovering like a sin, I texted, "The bay's calmer when you're here." Dots, his reply. "Then it'll have to keep showing up." City exhaled. I knew nothing of it would stay small. Morning found me on the floor beside my camera bag. Lights still on, phone face down. I had texted a cop at 1:37 a.m. and dreamed in blue strobe. Consequences arrived as quiet inventory, an editor's missed call, an unpaid invoice, my father's monthly voicemail blinking like a landmine I refused to step on. Real life tapped its foot while the night replayed a man who said, "You've got an eye." A message buzzed Lucas. Patrol ends at 7. Boardwalk in an hour. The bay behaves then. I read it twice. The sun lifted off. Biscayne trucks coughed awake. A gull yelled. If I ghosted him, the night would lie again. I typed. 1 hour. He was already there. Denim, navy tee, paper cup steaming gleaming on the rail, thinking. No badge, no script. Hazel eyes softer. Thought you might change your mind, he said. I almost did. I raised the camera, framed him, then lowered it. Sorry, don't be. He shifted closer. Show me how I look when I'm not supposed to be seen. Human, I said. And tired? He laughed once. The morning opened a little. Joggers passed. I told him about chasing rooftops and faces that look truer when the light is scarce. He told me about patrol rhythms, the calls that take more than they admit, the quiet blocks he keeps. Why photography, he asked. Because nobody believed what happened in my house unless there was proof, I said. And sometimes even then, he nodded like he knew that room. Why policing, I asked. Because when I was a kid, nobody showed up. Wind rose, his sleeve brushed my forearm. The contact was everything. Heat climbed like rumor. Breakfast, he said. The Cuban window had been feeding Miami longer than us. Stainless counter, sugar and gasoline, paints, bladdered men, a nurse, a woman in tennis whites. Lucas ordered in Spanish that moved like a song from childhood. He slid a cafecito toward me, our fingers touched. We ate on the curb. He asked small things and listened big. I told him about a father who taught me flinch before speak I. Never used the word father and didn't need to. He told me about a partner who drank himself off the force, about promises the city keeps, and the ones it breaks daily. Gentleness scared me. He didn't push. You keep watching the exits, he said. I learned to. You can unlearn. That simple. No, that slow. Traffic gathered itself. A bus sighed. A child squealed. I realized the first contact wasn't the text or the boardwalk. It was the way he let air in around things I never named. He checked his watch. Break at 2. There's a rooftop in Little Havana that forgets the city for 15 minutes. If you're around, send the cross streets, I said. He stood, dusted his hands like a man who knew how to carry what he could not drop. Try not to run any red lights until then. A hail if in, I said. He smiled like the name was evidence, if in. He walked toward a day that would ask for his spine. I stayed until my coffee cooled. By noon, I filed what my editor wanted. By 1, I listened to my father's voicemail without letting it strike bone. At 2, I climbed a lime, smelling stairwell in Little Havana, saints with chipped halos on the wall. The rooftop door rasped. Lucas waited in the shade of a busted vent, cap backwards, a grin that paused my risk inventory. 15 minutes, he said. This city charges interest. Then make them count, I said. The roof was a rectangle of gravel and sky. The city fell away. He stood beside me, quiet. No touching, not yet. My pulse slowed. What do you want to shoot? He asked. You, I said, then swallowed us. The part where we stopped pretending the morning didn't happen. He didn't move, and then he did. Half a step closer, a distance that changes a life. His breath touched my cheek. His hand stopped on my sleeve. Warmth traveled through cotton like a message choosing its route. Okay, he said. Let's not pretend. The rooftop burned into my memory like a photograph I couldn't delete. The gravel, the humming ec unit, the skyline trembling in haze, none of it mattered. What mattered was the space between us, shrinking with every second. Lucas didn't move fast. He never did. He let silence do the heavy lifting, let the heat carry words we weren't ready to speak. He leaned just close enough for his shoulder to brush mine, like a test neither of us had the courage to grade. You really lived through that lens, he murmured. It's safer, I said. Cameras don't ask questions, and I do, too many. He smiled, but it faltered halfway. Then tell me one truth. No photos, no edits. The city below roared. Horns, brakes, life exploding. Up here it was just his eyes waiting. I swallowed. I stopped trusting anyone the day my father called me a stranger in my own house. The confession hung raw. His jaw tightened. I know that feeling. He turned full, and for the first time he wastened Officer Rivera. He was a man carrying rooms of silence, rooms I wanted to open. Wind tore across the roof, hot and salty. He reached for my wrist like it was evidence, not tight, just steady. His thumb rested where my pulse betrayed me. Still think it's safer through glass? He asked. Not right now. I didn't move away, neither did he. His breath slid across my cheek, close enough to ignite the air, not close enough to break it. That pass longer than it should have been was the real crime. When he finally pulled back, the space hurt. He let go of my wrist, as if the city might arrest us. "Shift starts in 10, he said. I nodded, but my chest throbbed. "Text me when it ends." He smirked like ID handed him probable cause. "You'll regret saying that." "Already do," I whispered. But I didn't, not even close. That night I couldn't shoot, couldn't edit, couldn't breathe right. I lay on my mattress, watching headlights crawl the ceiling, waiting for the phone to light. When it did at 2:04 a.m., 3 words changed the tilt of my world. "You still awake?" I typed back before thinking, "Not anymore, dots." Then, meet me, same roof. I was out the door in minutes, camera bag slung like armor. The city pulsed around me, but my pulse outpaced it. When I opened the rooftop door, he was already there. No uniform, just a dark hoodie, hands in pockets, eyes restless. "You came," he said, "of course." We stood in the wind again, closer this time. The city didn't matter. The world shrank to his hand brushing mine until our knuckles aligned, until every rule I'd written to protect myself dissolved. For 1 second he let his fingers rest against mine. Warmth burned through me, no kiss, no promises. Just touch small, reckless, unforgettable. "Even," he said, voice rough, and I knew I'd never be safe again. Sleep came in fragments. By noon my editor called about a Russia's immensity desk, wanted night texture, anything that felt like Miami after midnight. Rent didn't care about my pulse, so I said yes and dragged the camera back into the heat. I shot until my shoes salted over. Domino tables, neon saints, a bartender polishing grief out of a glass. On the way home, I uploaded a small set to a neighborhood blog that paid fast when the paper moved slow. I added 1 frame I should deleted a rooftop silhouette, 2 figures at the rail, the skyline a smear. No faces, only posture, a cap turned backward, the line of a shoulder I knew too well. My hand hovered. Rent 1, the post went live at 6:14 m, 15 minutes above Little Havana. At 7:03 my phone exploded. "Unknown number, answer your phone, Ivan." I picked up. Lucas didn't wait for hello. "Where are you? At home? What door? Now?" He was there before my heart caught up, hoodie, cap, eyes like sirens. He pushed past me, phone in hand, my photo filled the screen. He zoomed on the silhouette, 2 inches of wrist where the sleeve lifted, a thin braided bracelet the color of his patrol bead, the one his grandmother gave him at academy graduation. "Tell me this isn't us," he said. "It's a blur." No one internal affairs called me in the car. He cut in. Anonymous tip with a link. Off-duty conduct, restricted roof. "You think blur protects me?" The floor tilted. I needed the money. It was nothing. It's art. Not it's a map to a life I'll lose if anyone reads it right. Anger rose out of fear. "So the life I'm building is supposed to hide in your shadow. This isn't about closets," he said. "It's about staying employed and breathing easy when I stop a car at 2 a.m. I want to walk into a room and not count exits. But you posted the only place I let myself be." He stopped. "And sold it." "I didn't sell you. I sold a shape." "You sold my shape," he said, soft and terrible. Silence pressed. My father's voicemail icon blinked. Lucas saw it and looked away. "I can't take it down," I said. "I'll call the editor." It's everywhere already. People screen, grab faster than bullets. He paced my kitchen, every turn contained. "They'll ask who the other man is," he said. "How many rooftops? If I was drinking. Why I left my beat to meet a stranger. I'm not a stranger. I am at work." The words cut deeper than yelling. I wanted to say he was the one who called me Ivan, who touched my wrist like it mattered. Instead, I said the wrong thing. "Maybe you're afraid of being seen," I snapped. "Maybe the bracelet is doing the job for you." His face closed. "You don't get to talk about what protects me." He stepped back. "I asked you for one thing, Ivan. Don't make my job harder. You asked me to stop hiding," I said. "Pick a rule." He looked at me like we were 2 crime scenes with no overlap. "I asked you to stop pretending," he said. "I never asked you to publish it." We stood in the split. Traffic hissed outside. "I'll fix it," I said. It's nothing. They don't investigate nothing." He pocketed his phone. "I have to go downtown." "Lucas," he paused at the door. "You see what other people miss," he said. "Next time, see me." The door closed like a period. The apartment shrank. I opened my father's message just to hear any voice. His words were scripture sharpened into a knife. "Son, the world, love your kind. Come home before you ruin what's left." I deleted it and watched my hands shake. On the screen, the photo kept refreshing, shares multiplying, comments guessing. I saw the bracelet again, and wanted to tear the internet out of the wall. I texted, "I'm sorry, I'll fix it. Please call." Nothing. Hours bled. I went to the bay and photographed nothing. I waited until dawn for a reply that didn't come. At 8:22 a.m. his message landed, 8 words. "Don't contact me. Not until this is over." No word from Lucas for 2 days. Miami kept swaggering too loud, too bright. I pulled the post, called editors, filed statements like weather. No names, no IDs, a study of urban solitude. Shares still multiplied. My inbox collected knives disguised as advice. On the third night, I went back to the roof to make a different picture. I told myself I'd shoot absence, climb the stairs, collect the wind, leave with proof a place can forget a person. The lock was broken, the door hung crooked, scraping concrete like a warning. 2 hoodies slid from shadow. Teens, maybe 20. One wore a bat-like jewelry, the other's grin didn't reach his eyes. Photographer, the Bat Kid said, "You're the one who sells cops." "I sell light," I said. He swung. The bat kissed my ribs, heat bloomed, the city tilted. I stumbled, kept the camera on my shoulder like faith. The second guy yanked the strap. "Leave it," I gasped. "Or what? You'll take my picture." He shoved me. Gravel bit my palms. The bat rose again. Footsteps on metal stairs. A voice cut the wind. "Police, drop it." I knew that tone. The bat froze. The boys turned to run. Lucas cleared the last step, stance wide, hands visible. "Hands now," he said, calm as rain. The bat clanged to the roof. My camera skittered and stopped against the vent. They bolted for the door. He let them. He kept his eyes on me until the stairwell swallowed their noise. Only then did he move. "You okay?" he asked. "I've had worse," I said. Pain rang down my side. He crouched, steadying me with a palm at my back. His other hand hovered at my ribs, then settled warm through my shirt. "Breathe," he said. "Slow." I did, because his voice made breath feel like something a body could remember. "You shouldn't have come here," he added. "I came to take responsibility," I said, "and to stop pretending the roof was just a roof." He exhaled, half laugh, half surrender. "I still has me on a leash. I shouldn't be here either." "Then why are you?" "A kid called in that a photographer was about to get taught a lesson, and I didn't want them to finish the sentence." He nodded at the camera. "Check it." The screen blinked awake, cracked but breathing. "It's fine. What about you?" he asked. "I'm not." We sat against the vent, shoulders touching, letting our breathing find the same rhythm. "I was wrong," I said, "about the bracelet, about the photo, about thinking blur equals safety." He didn't say "I told you so." He touched my wrist, the same place as before, thumb resting where bad nights knock. "They pulled my phone records," he said. Cold slid through me. What did they see? That I texted someone at 2:04 a.m., that I asked him to meet me on a roof. He breathed in. "They want me to name you." The world rang thin, and I didn't. His breath touched my cheek. "But they are not done." "Then we're done," I said. "I want to be the reason you weren't the reason," he said. "You were the excuse life was waiting for." I wanted to ask him to choose me. I wanted to say I'd disappear. Both were the same kind of selfish. "Come with me," he said. "1 block. Clinic on Flagler. Let them look at your ribs, and see you bring in a guy Thayer tailing." Thayer tailing me. Your background noise. We took the service stairs, kept distance on the sidewalk, pretended to be strangers. In the clinic, fluorescence flattened us into paper. A nurse taped me tight and told me to breathe like I remembered how. Lucas waited outside, cap low. When I stepped into the hall, he straightened. For a beat, we forgot hallway, cameras, rules. He reached like habit and stopped just before contact. I closed the gap. Our shoulders met. My hand found his sleeve, his breath found my neck. We let it live for 3 seconds. "Ivin," he said. A door opened down the hall. A man in gray suit watched too long, then looked away. Lucas went rigid. New threat. I asked, "Aya," he said, "or the union's fixer." We separated by inches that felt like blocks. The man turned the corner, phone to his ear. "We can't keep meeting like fate," Lucas said. "They'll make fate look like policy." "What do we do?" He glanced at the exit. "Pick a place that isn't a roof or a hallway." Talk like men, not mistakes, tonight. Tonight, he gave me a bar in Little River, a password no one uses, a time 2 hours after his shift. He moved for the door, then back, then forward again, a man torn between posts. "Be careful." He said, "You too." We left in opposite directions, still pulling the same rope. Outside, the sky lowered into thunder that never fell. I held my ribs, my camera, and the name of the bar like contraband near me. At the corner, my phone buzzed from an unknown number. A photo loaded slow. My apartment door, a smear of spray painted 3 letters I've spent a lifetime outrunning. Underneath, caption, "Tonight we finished the lesson." The bar was nothing special, Little River, neon beer signs sputtering, cracked vinyl booths, the kind of place that swallowed secrets and spit out nothing. I Got there early, ribs aching under the tape, ordered water and counted faces. None looked twice at me, that made me more nervous. At 11:12 he came in, uniform gone, hoodie again, cap pulled low. His eyes scanned the room once, then found me, my breath caught. He slid into the booth opposite me. You shouldn't have answered that text, he said. I had to, I replied. They painted my door. His jaw worked. What did it say? I hesitated, then showed him the photo. His face went cold. They are not kids with bats anymore. That's a message from Aya. I asked Aya to spray slurs on doors. He leaned in, voice low. That's someone else. Maybe the same people who tipped them off. Maybe worse. Silence stretched. The jukebox whined through a country song nobody believed. You think I put you at risk, he said. I know I did. I sold a picture and it put you here. He slammed his fist on the table. Not loud, not dramatic, just final. No if-in. You put yourself here. With me. His eyes burned, and I can't stop thinking maybe I wanted you to. The words landed heavy. My chest cracked. Lucas, I shouldn't be here, he said, his voice breaking for the first time. I shouldn't want this. My badge is my life. But then you text, and suddenly my life feels smaller than your name on my phone. Heat rose up my neck. You think it's different for me. I built everything on staying unseen, and then you pull me into light I don't know how to stand in. He reached across the table, grabbed my wrist the way he always did. Only this time his grip shook. Tell me to walk away. Tell me to end this. I stared at him, ribs aching, pulse wild. I can't, I whispered. Something in him broke open. His hand slid up, fingers on my cheek, thumb brushing skin like evidence he was terrified to leave behind. His breath touched mine. The world narrowed to the space between us. Then flash, not metaphor, real, a camera shutter. We both snapped toward the door. A man in a gray suit, same one from the clinic hallway, lowered his phone, smirked, and walked out into the night. Lucas bolted from the booth. I followed, ribs screaming, shoving through the crowd. By the time we hit the street, the man was gone, swallowed by neon. Breathless, Lucas cursed low. They have us. Who is he? I demanded. Internal affairs, he spat. Or worse, a kind of fixer they send when they don't want it in a file. My blood iced, then we're done. Hell bury you. Lucas turned, grabbed both my shoulders, eyes fierce. No, I'm done hiding. If they come for me, they are coming for the truth, not a shadow. And if I burn with you. My chest caved. Lucas don't say that, but he already had. His lips hovered a heartbeat from mine, a confession without words. He didn't kiss me. He didn't have to. Every muscle in my body already answered yes. Sirens wailed blocks away. Not for us yet. He let go of my shoulders. Go home. Pack a bag. Tonight isn't over. I wanted to ask where, how, why, but I saw the set of his jaw, the storm behind his eyes, so I nodded. When I turned back toward my car, a chill slid down my spine. My door would not be the only one marked tonight, and for the first time I wondered if love wasn't pulling us closer, but dragging us both into fire. I packed fast, camera bag, 2 shirts, cash, the tape on. My ribs tugged like a question every time I bent. Outside, the street hummed low, cars passing slow, a dog barking like it knew something. On my door, the paint was still wet, the slur curling like smoke. I thought about scrubbing it. I thought about my father's voicemail. I left both. Lucas texted, back entrance. 10 minutes. I waited in the alley behind my building, sweat on my palms despite the cool night. Headlights swept past and kept going. A car door opened down the block. I almost ran, almost hid. Then Lucas appeared from shadow, hoodie zipped, cap low, a duffel slung across his chest. You sure? He asked. No, I said. You? He smiled without teeth. Never. We walked fast, not touching. He led me 3 blocks to a rented sedan. We slid in. He started the engine but didn't drive. His hands gripped the wheel like prayer. They pulled my badge tonight, he said quietly. I looked at him. Lucas suspension pending review, he said. They think I've been compromised. He laughed once, a sound like metal on metal. Compromised? That's what they call it when you find someone you'd actually protect. The car idled, my heart pounded. We can't fight this, I said. Tell the truth. Show them it's nothing. He shook his head. It's already something. Wind rattled the alley trash. Somewhere a siren climbed and cut. I was supposed to be the one who shows up, he said. The one who stands between you and the bad guys. But now I'm the storm at your door. You're not, I said, reaching for his wrist. You're the only reason I'm still standing. He closed his eyes, leaned back. I could drive north right now. Drop you in Orlando, disappear into Georgia, lose the name Rivera. We could start over. The thought was a knife, and live where? As who, Ivan and Lucas, he said, 2 nobodies. I swallowed hard. And how long before the roof leaks? He opened his eyes, hazel, flickering. Then tell me what to do. "I can't," I whispered. Silence. He shifted into drive, rolled the car forward, stopped at the corner where the streetlights ended. "This is where I was headed before the academy," he said. "Out past Tampa. My uncle's old boat. No cameras, no questions." He turned to me, searching. "You can come. Or you can get out. Either way, this is the last time we have a choice." My ribs hurt. My throat burned. Outside, the city held its breath. My voice cracked. "I can't run from another life." "Not again." He nodded slowly. No anger, no plea. Just acceptance, like a man reading his own sentence. "Then get out," he said softly. I opened the door. Night air rushed in. He didn't look away. I stepped onto the pavement, duffel heavy on my shoulder. The car idled, a heartbeat waiting. "Lucas," I said. He raised his hand once, a small wave, a farewell or a promise. I couldn't tell. Then he drove off, taillights shrinking until the dark ate them. I stood in the empty street, paint still under my fingernails, camera digging into my hip. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Truth always finds the light. No signature, no threat, just that. I looked up at the sky, waiting for sirens or dawn or nothing. All I heard was the city breathing. All I felt was the warmth of his hand still on my wrist, like a ghost refusing to leave. And that's where the story ends or starts. I don't know.